Welcome to Making Sense of AI Together, the podcast that explores how artificial intelligence is reshaping our everyday lives. I'm Claudine Wong, journalist and news anchor.
And I'm Lisa Bernard, a former TV journalist, now creating AI content on my Instagram channel, Demystify AI. Each week, we break down the buzz, cut through the hype, and help you make sense of the AI that's becoming part of your world.
And if you liked that intro, yes, AI helped us write it. We are putting it all to the test.
Well, we have a treat for you today. With us is relationship expert Spicy Mari. She is the founder of The Spicy Life and is featured on the highly successful Netflix show Sneaky Links, Dating After Dark, which is hot and heavy. You got to check it out if you haven't already. She knows all about communication and finding and sustaining meaningful love. So naturally, we want to ask you about dating in the age of AI. Thank you so much for being here. Let's start with telling us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Tell us how you got into this career. How'd you become an expert in relationships?
I know, we all want to be experts. We're novices on this.
Okay, the origin story, right? Single parent home, believed that I was too good to have one parent. I deserve two. And so I set out to get my mom love. So I'm literally like 6 years old in the gas station, at the park, at the after school play, pitching my mom and selling her as this amazing mom and me as this incredible package. You get two for the price of one. And was seeing how different she was in relationship. We had more food, I had more toys, mom was happier. And she saw that I had this like incredible gift. And she was like, okay, you're not going to be a loveaholic like me. I actually need to steer this energy correctly and not make your worth dependent on relationship. And so she was like, you're going to school. You're not going to be dependent on anyone. You're going to school. So UC Berkeley, then master's at USC, where I developed my spicy method, all the meanwhile still hooking and setting people up. And understanding that there's a certain level of skill set and formulas that can be applied. So understanding pretty much the science behind relationships and then also the emotions behind relationships and how all of those come together, right? So it's the psychology and then the behavioral science behind it. So all of these things working together, still also doing a radio show, giving spicy tips. And just really perfecting my craft using not just like data that I've researched, but also now clients and using that information and then getting the results. So tried, tested, and true, applying it on myself, getting my purpose mate. And then now wanting this for everybody else. And so I'm still that same little girl though, that was like, everybody deserves love. Everybody deserves a 2-parent home. And so my mission in life is to restore the family unit. I don't want people giving up on love, no matter what their circumstances. So giving a healthy tool. Go ahead.
It's really interesting because Spicy Marian, you've got, you're so great and TV savvy and Netflix savvy and fun to watch, but it is based, I think it's awesome in academia and studies. And this is a tried and true method. This is not just, oh, I think you look good with you and that seems to work. And this kind of, amorphous chemistry. This is what we know kind of works. This is foundational. This is for people who say, oh, the old fashioned way. This is kind of based in the old and the new together.
Yes. Also studying, communications and how tech affects, right? Male and female. The study of also women's studies at Spelman. So at UC Berkeley, USC, Spelman, and then going to Gottman to understand the relationship dynamic in clinical studies, and then also dating coach certifications. And so, yeah, it's a lot. It's a combination of, and the media is just an additional part of it, right? Like me getting the message out to the masses, trying to change lives publicly, but focusing on doing it here in the comfort of, my own profession and business full time. So media has been a great way to inform people.
So I want to talk about the show, Sneaky Links, and also all your extensive research and work. Call me old-fashioned, but there is something about chemistry between two bodies, right? Like literally the protons and the electrons and you feel
Yes.
that chemistry on the show, it gets hot. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. But as we're going to segue into asking you about AI and this digital world, talk about how important, if you believe it is important, that
Yeah.
chemistry between two humans as a base.
Chemistry is extremely important, okay, but not more important than compatibility. And so the way that I frame it, instead of chemistry versus compatibility, passion versus security. I think that's easier for people to understand, okay? Which one do you prioritize based on where you're at in your life? Okay, so in our youth, passion for sure, 1000%. The older that we get, though, security starts to climb up there now that you've experienced passion. And you're like, you know what? I actually operate best when my nervous system is regulated. I actually operate best when I know that someone is committed to me. I actually operate best. So, it is this, that's not to say that passion is not important, but I am a firm believer that you can create passion. You can create chemistry even, and the sentiments of excitement if you behave and perform in a certain way. Okay, I can give you romance right now by dimming the light, candles, and a gondola ride. Now you just think I'm the most romantic person, and like there's different things that we can do.
Yeah, but
security, there's nothing that I can do to make you a safer, more trustworthy person.
I think what was interesting as I watched Sneaky Links, because it started out, and these are young people, right? And so when we talk about AI and young people and how they're all dating and meeting people, and when you introduce us to these young people in this right there, it goes into it like these are hot people who love to sneak around and love to, and you're like, okay, what's your number? What's your and it's a little shocking, they're like, I just, and a lot of them are really honest with, I just go physical first. So that chemistry you're talking about, they just, and with their sneaky, they're just, it's all passion and nothing else, right?
It's all passion.
What I appreciated with you working through it as they were leaving, compared to some other reality dating shows that you look at, they were doing a lot of introspection about like what they were bringing to the table, what they needed leaving, the Sneaky Links hotel, because that's what it takes, right? To figure out what you're looking for, what shortcuts you're taking, what you're not doing in order for you to, and I always say this, I'm like, when you're young, you're like, a half plus a half makes a whole. You complete me. It's the whole thing. And then I went to this wedding of older people and they're like, oh, no. 1 + 1 is 2. Like you have to be a whole person before the other. And that is what makes a solid unit, not, a portion. You can't wait for the other person to fix you. You have to fix yourself. And then you come to the equation. And I would say that was actually a surprise of Sneaky Links but I think that's the introduction of someone like you. No other show that I've watched has been like, hey, let's figure out why maybe you haven't found your person. It might be you. It might be them, but it might be also you.
I wish you guys would have been privy to the sessions that I had with them, like on a daily basis for the entire month, meeting with them one-on-one and actually having coaching sessions with them. Because to your point, they came in the mindset of, physical attraction is the priority and, how this person makes me feel, which is extremely important. But what is the healthy choice that your future self will thank you for? How do we get you to value commitment? How do we actually get you afraid or break the fear, right, of vulnerability and trust? Because a lot of them had like trust issues. When you become someone's hookup buddy or their situationship or their sneaky link, they're usually emotionally unavailable. And the reason why you're unavailable is it's a guards rail. It protects you from the potential wounds that somebody else could cause. So there's a huge risk factor when you decide to be trusting, when you decide to give yourself. But if you're not willing to take that risk, then you're also not necessarily ready for love, because love is giving someone the power to hurt you and trusting that they won't.
Yes.
So getting them to see that was extremely important.
So, I mean, you're so wise and you have such credibility. So it's really, no, you are. They're lucky to have you. They were lucky to have you. If we could then introduce tools or crutches or skills that can be developed, like you said, helping someone sort of gain that confidence. Is technology
Mm.
something that can help? They don't all get access to someone like you. Those people are lucky to have access to you. But do you see a role for technology in helping people? Let's start with just develop those tools you discuss.
Yes, I'm going to start with I love technology. Technology has been great. Okay. Here's the thing that is happening with technology. First, actually, let me give the pros.
Yeah. Let's start
Technology is,
optimistically.
let's start optimistically. Technology has been beautiful in, with anything of, genius brilliance in helping us with algorithms, personal matching within these dating apps, and helping you with prompts to effectively communicate. The challenge, though, that comes is when you aren't being tested on it and you aren't actually understanding the purpose behind the application, you learning and actually becoming a better version of yourself isn't necessarily there, right? The apps are a tool, but they do not help you in the self-actualization. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Yeah. So and so I meant okay, I want to dive into that for sure. But I also
Okay.
meant, could they get sort of relationship coaching, not before they even go on Tinder or Hinge or Bumble or the others?
Yeah.
And then I want to talk for sure about, how your profile should be, written. But is there a way to put you at scale, so to speak,
Oh,
where
me personally
there
or
is
ChatGPT?
right? I mean, people do use ChatGPT for
Hmm.
therapy.
They are.
And I don't know how do you feel about that? And do you feel that it could coach them in these skills? You got one-on-one meetings with
Yeah.
them. Um, and if people don't have access to that, do you have any confidence that the chatbot could help people develop the
Mm.
sense of confidence or the tools they need?
If it's giving you the aha eye-opening moments, then the answer is yes. But here's the thing, right? Because you're giving it prompts. You're like, help me get over my ex, or what should I say in
Yes.
response to, this question that he just asked me? Or how can I get him to ask me even out? We're using it as a way to give us answers, right? So asked and answered. The difference between coaching and therapy is the introspective work that makes
Mhm.
you give the answer. So
Yeah.
ChatGPT is giving you the answer versus let me go self-reflective and come up with the answer. It's not prompting you unless you ask it to, hey, prompt me and help me to figure this out on my own, which is not what most people are asking. Most people are asking for real time, real responses in that immediate moment so that they don't take the time to figure it out on their own.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I also feel like good therapists know what you're not asking.
Mhm.
Like they
Correct.
kind of can see what you may
Great
have
point.
missed.
Based
Yeah,
on
so
your
it should not
response.
replace therapy. We should be a public service
Yeah.
announcement here. Do
No,
not let your chatbot
therapy,
replace.
therapy and coaching are both still very much needed because listening, right, is the key element. But to your point about what's missed, there's certain things that are communicated in body language. There's certain things I can say I'm doing great, but when we're watching you visually and we're having interpersonal communication, we can actually see in your eye contact. We can see in the frown on your face. We can see in your shoulders shrink. We can actually look at your body language and say, you said you're doing great, but you're physically not demonstrating that. So then we can prompt you and guide you to a question of, well, why doesn't your body show that? We can steer the conversation in a way based on even your past experience that we have deep dived into, that we understand, and
Hmm.
help you with achieving, a specific goal and pretty much revealing and pulling back some of those layers.
That is so
Technology isn't
true.
necessarily pulling back the layers.
Yeah. Also, I think it's
So
hard to
true.
say it to a person's face. Like the reason people break up on text is because it's easier to text it than it is to say to someone who's looking at you,
Mhm.
and any practice I think that you get doing that is actually good. Human interaction is uncomfortable. I mean, it can be,
It
and
is
whether it's in therapy or anywhere else. And if you don't keep practicing that, not to sound like an old person, but certainly kids that you see them today, they don't even want to go in and ask for
Right.
a straw. They want a mobile order. They want to do everything.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's any surprise that when it comes to dating, it's even harder to not only like approach someone that you're attracted to, but then also tell them your feelings. I mean, if you can't ask for a straw at Starbucks, you're not going to be able to say, here's how I'm feeling. I mean, and then if you continue to do that on a chat bot, then
Right.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
lost, right?
You're lost. So tell us then,
That's
there's
hilarious.
technology and then there's artificial intelligence, right? Then there's AI.
Okay, yes.
And so AI is relatively new-ish. We've been talking, 2 years. What shift have you seen? What shift have you seen in emotional health, and also possibly opportunities? I mean, if someone is shy, I've done stories on how and AI can help you riz, and it can help you learn how to flirt, and can help you write your profile description maybe a little, snazzier. Have you found that to be true? Have you found advantages with AI?
So there are advantages, right? People who might not be coming to me are using AI for help. Uh, this is the difference, though. I know you and I understand you. So I know what makes you a great communicator and I know what doesn't. I know what your insecurities are. I know I already know how you speak and deliver information. So I see bad habits and I can pick up on those. So when I coach and I'm telling you, hey, this is how you should message him, I'm then able to hold you accountable to then practicing my formula. AI is not double checking on you. It's not saying, hey, what were the results of when you sent that message to him? Did you get the feedback that you wanted? Did he respond in a way that made you feel good about yourself? It's not making you tap into what am I feeling in this moment, right? It's not using like a logic tree. And so while I do love it for like that quick information, right? If I can't think of a caption on Instagram, hey, ChatGPT. But if I want to have that interpersonal development and help with actual communication, which is the most important thing in relationships, well, then we have to actual practice real intimacy. So the difference between one-on-one human interaction is because intimacy is an interactive experience, AI is not giving you a human experience. So you're not getting I share right with AI, but AI doesn't share intimately back with me. So I'm actually not even learning how to process AI's emotions so that I can help become better at receiving somebody else's feelings so that I can help in my empathy, right? Like that's what you get when you're talking to people.
Do you
You get to
also
practice that muscle.
do you also think I think and I saw this on your show as well. It's a reminder of what you're putting in and why you're putting that in there. I mean, if you're filtering every single picture and you are changing everything about you, are
Yeah.
you just looking for the quick hookup or are you looking to show someone like really every side of you? Because the person who wants the filtered version of you
Right.
isn't going to be the person probably who walks down the aisle with you. I mean,
Yeah.
if that's what you have to do for them, is that the person that you're really going to want at the end of the day? I mean, are you on I'm not going to pretend that I know all the dating apps, but is Tinder the hookup app and Hinge is the relationship app? Like which one are you on and why are you
Yeah.
getting on it and who on the other side of it is pulling on it? Because all of that's you're able to do. I mean, you could lie on any of it with or without AI. I mean,
Anything.
AI
I think
could
if people
really
are
help you
shy,
lie.
though, if they're shy, might it not sort of help them write a profile and choose a photo that would be, the most likely to gain attraction? Maybe
Yeah,
there is
that's
a
level
use
one though,
for
right?
it.
Level one, choose a
Yeah.
photo. Level two, change that photo.
But I love that. I think that that's a gift to us. Okay. And let me say why I think that's a gift. Because we are living in a time that you have to market yourself. You have to market yourself because you're now a brand, whether it's a dating brand, whether it's a business, everything has to be branded. So, what is the dating brand that you want to put out there? Okay, I'm living this fabulous life. Come join me. Here's my fabulous photos. Don't you want to be a part of it? I think that's great, right? Because you do want, let's say, men or women or the customer while you're dating, you do want the customer to come, walk through the store. But are you prepared when they show up And that's where people get stuck. So great, you lured the man in with your beautiful profile, or you lured the girl in with your, 6-pack on the yacht. But now can you actually make me feel like you're interested and engaged, and that you're inquisitive, and that you want to share our future together and our values, and are you able to communicate your fondest memories? Like, that's where people get tripped up at, and and that's actually where people need the help.
So does AI help with that? Is there anywhere AI can help with that? Or is that when you're on your own? Is AI just a door to help you, get the intro date, but then the rest is up to you? I mean, how should we look at AI?
AI is a bridge. Okay. It helps you get across. But once you get across, you're going to have to do that hike or that climb on your own. You cannot be dependent. If AI helps you get the date, great. But now it is your time to turn on. It is your time to pivot between your masculine and feminine energy. It's your time to deliver a compelling story about your life. It's your time to explore and discover what makes them unique and interesting. And that's the time for you to demonstrate why your life should merge with hers. And if you don't know how to do that, if you haven't been practicing that skill set because you've been hiding behind technology, right? And that might be at work with emails, that might be, on dating apps, that might be the McDonald's order that you're putting in. If you aren't practicing that skill set of charm, of charisma, of just engaging, then you actually lose that. You actually lose that muscle.
So let's talk about Replika. You're familiar with Replika? It's this app that is digital companions, and
okay.
Yeah, people have fallen
I've been
in
hearing about
love
this
with these digital companions. I had done a story 18 months ago on someone who married an AI. She created an AI that was all her specifications, never talk back to her, and like all the same things she did. And then there are these bots that throughout the day are giving you attention and checking in on you and writing little love notes. And we say AI is not sentient yet and doesn't have feelings, but some of these are getting pretty advanced at pulling emotions out of the human and responding with emotional responses. And people are getting very attached to them. What is your experience, if any, with this digital attachment? I read about digital attachment disorder, loneliness, the loneliness epidemic. People are finding comfort in chatbots.
I think that we've always, though, as humans, looked for love and attention, right? We will find it in children. We will find it in animals. We will find it in our work. We develop a relationship with our work that's very intimate. A lot of it is this is going to sound awful. A lot of it is a barrier to true intimacy and vulnerability. And hear me out.
That doesn't sound terrible.
Because
Keep going.
Okay. It's not so much that we are unlovable, but when we believe that I have to, let's say, interact with someone in order to receive that love in return, I'd rather go with what's easier. I'd rather go with the technology, or I'd rather go with the puppy, or I'd rather go with the little baby, or because we want love so bad. Okay. But the point is that we don't feel like we can master humans. If you don't feel like you can master a peer, an adult, human person, then this is about actually your confidence. This is about your confidence, your laziness or complacency, and your competence with humans. If you don't feel competent, right, to be able to engage and interact, then you're using this as an excuse to actually avoid the responsibility that you have to true connection.
And so on the other side, if you were telling someone who is saying, I feel connected, what are they losing? Because I feel like they're losing a lot. They're gaining something. There is something they gain from that because they feel fulfilled in something. And so unless they look at what they're losing, it'll feel fine.
Well, there's no physical interaction.
Yeah, they don't get, I mean, there used to be like, there used to be, but there used to be like, yes, okay, yes, clearly. But like, there were like snuggle labs for a while where you could
Mm.
go in and someone would just hold you because people
Whoa.
needed physical interaction, but there was no emotional connection. Like it would just be
Interesting.
people just needed a physical touch, right? But they didn't get the emotional touch. Now they get the,
Ego building and
yeah, emotional kind of interaction, but they don't get physical touch. Like everyone's seeking it in some way. I think puppies are
Yeah.
physical touch,
Sure.
in terms of not
Mhm.
what you're talking about, but it is like, but, I think in terms of relationships are hard, but there
Correct.
is a payoff. I mean, it is, like they always say, right? You get love, but you risk getting your heart broken, which is devastating. So when you're working with couples, you have to convince them, I imagine, that the payoff is so great that it is worth the great fall. Because anyone who's had their heart broken, they pull back from that because they don't want to get hurt. All your like side interviews were like, I don't want to get hurt. Like it's this natural reflex to protect themselves.
So my rebuttal to that, because everything that you're saying is true, but my rebuttal to that is that the pain is purposeful. Okay. So when we're using technology or animals or all the other things, even a vibrator. Okay. When we're using these things so that we can avoid, real human connection, the benefit of a relationship is that mirror. Okay. The benefit of the relationship is the evolution of you. You cannot grow in isolation without someone testing you, without someone holding up your wounds, without someone actually challenging your growth. I can say that I'm evolved all I want because I read a textbook and because I did a curriculum and because, I, have set my mind to whatever goal. But it's not until the true test where you're put in a situation where now you actually have to, okay, you practice your conflict management. Let's see. Let's get into an argument. Let's see how well you regulate your emotions when I hit a pain point for you. Can you still rise to the occasion and give me love in return, even when I don't deserve it, right? It's those kind of things that you don't actually get to practice because it's not real love when it's not a peer.
Well, when AI tells you everything you want to hear, that's
Right.
not real love.
And
It's not a
what you're
test.
saying makes so
You're not
much
getting
sense.
tested and you're not getting the pain.
Yeah, what worries me is yes, everything you're saying, yes. But as a society, and especially the
Mhm.
younger, we're making ourselves seem so old, but the people
Older,
who
not
are
old.
up and coming into, romance for their first few experiences with it, are they impatient and are they pausing to really absorb these things you're talking about? Or with all the algorithms, with all the tech, with this short attention span, with this
Mhm.
more chatbots everywhere you turn, do you fear that people are going to not hear what you're saying and just start with these digital experiences?
I love the digital experiences and technology because even we saw during COVID, right? People being in this isolation bubble. One thing that technology highlights is no matter how many steps you think you get to skip, at some point you're still going to fail. So when you do, I will be there, right? Because I think it does what it's like, well, you literally have every tool. We have all the answers to how to have an amazing relationship. I can Google that right now. How to have the best relationship in the world, how to get someone to fall in love with me. But why don't I have it? There's something there. You can give me all the answers. But as a human, I'm still not going to listen because the only way that I learn is through experience.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
I applaud it. I think I love technology because it also holds a mirror to the things that we actually still need to grow in. And I think that it's given us access. I think that it has saved time. I think that it allows me even more time, to multitask and do all the things that I need. I can now outsource responsibilities that I have. But oftentimes, a lot of us aren't even taking that additional time to create real intimacy with our loved ones. We're just finding more reasons to work more. Oh, now that I have this extra time, now I can do more things. I can be even more disconnected. I have more time to focus on my career or the other thing outside of the relationships.
Yeah.
It's all going to circle back to us. It's
all
all going to
circles
circle back
back.
to our need to grow.
The wisdom of Spicy Mari. What a great conversation. So appreciate all of it. Thank you so much for the conversation. We really have enjoyed it so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I'm excited. I mean, maybe